And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. How to cut your food budget in half. Last few days we've talked a lot about budgeting, and one of the things that could be like decreased massively is your food budget, because that's kind of what happened to us the last 6 months, or the last 4 months, I would say, where, we just wanted to cut things back as much as possible. And so what we decided to do, instead of just buying food whenever we're hungry or whenever we have to, we decided to, for a period of time, pay into a separate account twice a week approximately $200 or 1,350 kroners twice a week. And that was our food budget. And it ended up becoming the full budget for everything in the household except for some car expenses. But it worked, because what ended up happening is that we didn't have that much food anymore for food, so we had to strategize. And the strategizing became, well, if we never eat out, so we stopped doing that at all. Like, I work a lot outside the house, but I decided to stop eating out, and that decreased quite a lot, quite quickly. And then number two, we decided that food prep was basically the only way. So what we did was we went on Pinterest and we checked out recipes. And from these recipes, we had to do a little bit of work. We had to, instead of doing the recipe the way it was, we had to times it by 8 or times it by 10 in order for it to be enough for several days. So yes, is it going to be a bit monotone? Is it going to be a bit boring? Of course. But we're trying to save time, we're trying to save money. And when we do that, just for a period of time, the outcome of being, like, the habit of being able to save money and keep that money that we make is amazing. And you only have to do it for a period of time until you choose, well, we're making quite good money, so let's increase it a little bit. But let's make that in a year's time or 6 months' time. I'm talking to guys here now who don't, you can do that. Yes, maybe you have a wife or a girlfriend or kids, and then you might have to do a little bit higher budget than what I'm saying here, or keep the same budget. Or if you're a single guy, this is going to be even cheaper if you do that. You can live so cheap if you're single. It's ridiculous. Some ways you could actually live for free, if you do some of the hacks that I teach throughout this channel. So what happened with the food? Well, we started food prepping with the Pinterest, with timesing it by 8 to 10, and then we had to have a freezer. Alright? If you have a big freezer, great. If you don't, then get one. I mean, we got ours for free from someone actually nearby. And fortunately, I had a van to go and get it, and we simply got a new freezer. And with that freezer, it makes a little bit of noise, and that's why they gave it away, but we have it in one of the rooms that are downstairs, so we don't hear it at all. And it's perfect. So we basically, for a period of time, we would do food prep every single day. We never managed to do more than 3 days in a row, but if you're more disciplined in terms of making food prep, you can make it every day for a month, or every day for a week, or 2 weeks. And you can stack that freezer with tons of food prep food. Now, you have to be careful to make sure that you actually enjoy the food that you're making. So in the beginning, maybe you can just make it one time with one size to just see, do I really like this dish? And then, if you do love it, then make it massive. Think big. And, times it by 8 or times it by 10 or 12 or whatever your number is. And then you'll have tons of food for a long period of time. And because you've bought in quantities, you more easily can price differentiate and find out what is cheap, what is not, and figure out your numbers and how to make it cheaper, and which dishes are expensive and which dishes are cheap, and then you go for the cheaper ones that taste fantastic, and eventually you've cut your food budget in half. Now that's beautiful, because most people's budgets in terms of food, that's where it's expensive. That's where they use a lot of money. And if it's not, you need to cut out a lot of other stuff, like, you know, unnecessary traveling, for example, or buying clothes too often. Like, a minimalist lifestyle in the beginning of your life will set you up for financial freedom for the rest of your life. Am I saying that you shouldn't enjoy your money? Not at all, okay? But set aside a specific amount for food money that you can spend guilt-free, but everything else, you're learning to minimalize, you're learning to cut in order for you to focus on increasing your income. Very often, when we spend a lot of money, it adds burden on us, and it adds things into our lives that we need to take care of, and it makes it so that we have less overview instead of more overview. That's why the minimalist lifestyle works. So if you manage to do this skill of cutting your food budget in half, minimalizing some other stuff, so that you can be consistent in increasing your income and having complete overview in your life, you'll be set up for a future that you cannot imagine. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling, and I'll see you again tomorrow.